refer. All right, let's do it.
All right, man. This is Bald Noggins, Ex-Pat. And Mike is sporting the Bald Noggins.
I'm sporting it, baby.
Yeah, that's why I bring you on.
I'm loud and I'm proud and I'm a Bald Nugget.
You're the cue ball, man. You're the cue ball.
I know. I've been shaving off
how
a little.
important the cue ball is in pool?
It's very important. I get it. But
you
listen.
are the cue ball in the Ex-Pat show. I don't know how else to portray you your importance to this show.
I know. I'm the cue ball. Okay, let's go.
I'm gonna start calling you Q.
Q. Ooh. That has Marvel ramifications. This is
double on.
Oh no, that's QAnon. Oh.
Whoa. Stay away from that rabbit hole.
And that's done, right? Because
oh no, it's just starting.
Oh, no, I bet it is.
Did I just say stay away from this rabbit hole? The QAnon rabbit hole. Do not go down the QAnon rabbit hole.
We're not even talking about this.
You'll never get out of it.
On today.
Anyway, we're talking about Tuscany.
Yeah, we're talking about Tuscany, and it's really cool because Tuscany, got under the Tuscan sun, all the wines. It's a marvelous agricultural region, and now Tuscany is not a province; it's a huge region of France. And if you look at it, it's about the size of Sardinia. It's big, or it's not big compared to some of the states of the United States, but it's big in the sense of Italy.
A huge region of Italy.
Yeah, I mean, it's got Pisa, Livorno, Florence, Spoleto, all the way up to La Spezia, which is way in the north, up by Genoa. I mean, it's a big region. So a lot of these small Italian towns are slowly depopulating because people, young people want to go someplace where there's jobs, and they don't want farm jobs. And I think that's the problem. That mostly these towns are not impoverished, but they're not like wealthy. And so as people move away, these houses become empty. So the program is, and it varies from town to town, depending on the need, right? So the more, dire the population drop is in town. So you're going to have to look around for places that you think are, but like there's Spoleto, which is a fantastic place. Spoleto has a massive art festival that goes on every year. It has been going on for, I was a kid there in 76, 77. I think from 75, I went up there and work on a farm from 75 up until about 77 was the last year I went. And I'd go up there and work, and Spoleto's a marvelous place. And it's still the festival, the art festival is still going on. And that's in Tuscany. Now, like I say, you're gonna have to check because there's a zillion towns there. And I'm sure the towns, but around Spoleto, there's probably 20 or 30 little tiny towns. Every hill's got a little village on top of it. As you drive through Italy, it's heavily populated. But anyway, so they have these programs. So here, let me just read. Let me reduce this and read the program to you.
And while you're doing that, I'm just going to share a picture of a flat in Tuscany.
Right.
Which kind of give people an idea of what, if they're looking at buying.
Toscana, right? Toscana. Is that right?
Well, there's an IA, so Toscana.
Is it? Oh, it's Toscana. Mi dispiace, mi scusi. Ho dimenticato.
No c'è mal.
All right. So here's the program. The program offers grants to help cover the cost of buying and renovating a home. The grants range from 10,000 euro to 30,000 euro, which is, I think it's a few bucks over that because of the exchange rate. Applicants must make the property their primary home. So they're really looking for people to move there. The program is intended to encourage people to move and live in the region permanently. And basically, I've already said the program's it's Italy's small towns and villages are dying off as people move to bigger cities for better jobs. So this is really intended for, I think their desire is for people that have jobs, that are remote, they can do from anywhere. Your son is a good example of that, YouTuber, does all his business off of YouTube and online. He'd be a great candidate. And that's the kind of thing my son and daughter-in-law, and actually my oldest daughter also, they all work from home, you know, and so they're the type of people that the Italians are looking for.
Yes,
Um,
and my son actually, he was an expat, and he spent a few years in Nicaragua, and he had to come back for medical reasons, but to the United States. But yes, he is definitely very interested in Italy as the next landing spot to
yeah,
expat.
but even if like so that's one level of people that would really work for this, because it'd be tough to compete economically with the people in those little towns, because you're just not going to get anywhere. You know, they grew up together, know everybody, and I think that would be a tough nut to break. But like if you're retired, that's another great one, because it is. I'm not sure about Tuscany. I know southern Italy is really inexpensive to live. Now prices have increased over time, but still, you're probably going to have an advantage of 30 cents on the dollar for living costs in some of these smaller towns in the South. Now, Tuscany, I'm not as familiar with, but you just said, what was the price on the house, Chris?
This was, well, 49,000 euros for a uh, 5 bedroom ground floor without a lift.
You could move the whole dang familia in there.
Yeah, it's 3,000 square feet. So
Wow, that's a mansion.
yeah, it's big and it's cheap. Now, obviously, if you look at the picture, it does have some of the fixtures, because I know when our family moved to Italy, my dad was complaining they took all the fixtures with them. So, you had wires hanging out of the ceiling and
Oh, I
out of
don't even
out
remember
of the
that.
walls.
Was
Yeah,
that the place in Piazza Stefano Uccini there?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
a big
I don't
apart.
even remember that.
Yeah, I remember him complaining about that because we just had wires, so he had to have someone come in and put the outlets in.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that is, my dad was a government official for the United States, and uh, you'd think, it was kind of a shock, because we didn't have the wherewithal to just go down the store and buy, because we couldn't speak the language at the time. I mean, I spoke some as I left, but yeah, that's rough. So you got to really take your time, go to these places, but the whole thing is, it is an amazing adventure, and I think for younger people it'd be better. I think for older people, it'd be tougher, but our older brother did it at what Steve was like 66 when he moved there. I think 65, 66 when he moved there, lived there for
They enjoyed
two
it.
and a half, 3 years and loved it. The main thing for him was he had a business back here in the States, and he got massively bored, because really the only thing they did was eat, go out to eat with their friends. And there was a pretty good sized expat community in this small town of Guardia San Formonte, northeast of Naples. And but they had a large group of friends, and there was a pretty good sized expat community of about 150 people. So it just all depends. From village to village, you're going to find a different experience. My dream, I mean, if I could redo my life, well, let's not do that, but I think it would be fun to go to a place where there wasn't a big expat community, so you'd be forced to learn the language, because then you'd be embedded in the community. And I think that's really what you want. So for younger people, younger families, where you'd be forced to learn the language, that would be fantastic. There's my
Yeah, I think if you have kids, it's a great experience for the kids to, to live in another country, experience a different culture, and learn a language.
right.
Like my grandkids, the two older ones were speaking Spanish, and they're back here in the States, but and they just broadens the horizons of the parents and the kids.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Chris, you spent how many, 3 years in Ghana?
2 years
in Africa?
in Ghana, Africa. We'll probably need to do a show on that.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
itself,
you
'cause
got some
Africa,
crazy stories.
Africa is just a wonderful place. Not as you know uh, ancient as Italy, obviously, but it still has its culture
Well, it's
and
every bit
has
as ancient as
the
Italy, but
the
they
Gold
don't have.
Coast. Right, they don't have the
They're more
history.
third world.
Yeah, and they do have the Gold Coast, which is amazing. A lot of forts, and where the slave trade was very active, whatever, several hundred years ago. So that's a pretty cool. But anyways, that's a different.
That's a whole different story. That's a
Yeah.
whole different show.
Yeah. We're
But
gonna Tuscany, and like I was telling Mike earlier before the show, actually, my wife and I were in Tuscany just last year, about a year ago this month. And we did go do some wine tasting up in Tuscany, and it's pretty expansive. I mean, we were driving, I just saw a lot of countryside. It's beautiful, green grass. I mean, of course, it's February. Grass appeared green to me, maybe because I was just in a
Through your green
euphoric
tinted
state.
glasses.
And
Well, it's a lot because they're right, because the country is not real big. They have a massive amount of coastline, so they get that warm Mediterranean breeze from Africa. The Scirocco comes through there. They get it's just a very temperate climate. Now you get up in the mountains and they will get snow, and we used to ski way up in Bardonecchia, way up in the north, and that was incredible. And you get up there, you can actually ski from the top of the mountain into France. I didn't do it because I wasn't interested in doing that, but anyway, so that's outside of Tuscany. But yeah, you get up in the mountains, there's snow, but along the coastline and closer to the coastline, it's very temperate. And the only thing that's going to hit you as far as hot and cold is the elevation. When you get up in the higher elevations, you're going to see some snow. We were in that little town of Frascati outside of Rome, and the people we were with, the lady got hit in the face with a snowball. We happened to go at a weird time when they actually had some snow, and they are at a higher elevation up in the mountains out southeast of Rome. But yeah, she was pretty upset. Anyway.
yeah,
And,
I lived there. We lived there for I was there for 8 years, and I don't, maybe once there's just a little bit of snow occasionally on the ground, but I mean, I never remember enough to make a snowball. So that's interesting.
yeah, I never saw the 4 years I was there. I never saw a snowflake the entire time. And as a matter of fact, in January, because we were kids and we were in school in January, if the sun came out, it was 65, 70 degrees. It was gorgeous. So yeah, the farther north you're going to go, you're going to experience a little bit different, because this is, like I say, Tuscany is a massive region that it encompasses a lot of different provinces. And so, you're going to find a zillion different small towns, but you'll know the region. Just look on the map, type in Tuscany, and it'll show you the region, and you can go. Like I think Cinque Terre is part of that region, I would assume, because it's way up by Genoa. It goes that far, but anyway.
And if you are thinking of checking out Tuscany, watch the movie Under the Tuscan Sun, which kind of gives you an idea. I know it was made about 20 years ago, but as far as the labor and, this lady having to renovate this home, which a lot of these homes are 1,000 years old, and
Yeah,
she's renovating it, and, just her adventures. But it give you an idea. And our brother Steve, occasionally he's on our show, and he talks about the challenges of renovating an older home in these small villages, which is,
yeah, it's not a small. It would be a challenge. That doesn't mean you can't do it. And I think you could find people who could translate for you, because that's what you need. If you don't have a translator, like with me, my Italian, I can communicate somewhat in it, but it's rough. So I stopped speaking Italian while I was there, because I just thought, they speak so fast. I'm getting older. My hearing's not so good. And so I just thought, I'm going to speak English. And if I absolutely have to, I'll speak Italian, kind of a thing.
Then you pull out the big guns.
Then I pull out the big guns, that crappy Italian that I taught.
Yeah, really
that's what I'm talking about.
Or you speak your crappy Italian, but you just yell it.
There you go.
That usually works.
Che cos'è? Che
Che successo?
So anyway, our older brother, hilariously, when we were kids, came over to visit us, and he figured, I'm speaking English, so if I speak really loud, that'll help the translation. Didn't help. It was hilarious. He's yelling at these people, not yelling, but speaking very loud to them, like they're going to understand better if I yell. Anyway, it was hilarious. But don't do that. Don't do that. They don't like it. The Italians don't like it. As far as I know, maybe they do. I don't know.
Anyways, well, that was I think pretty informative. It just kind of our little show here just kind of whets the appetite of, yeah,
Sure, it gives you a little bit of info. Just
Yeah,
get
maybe-
online, type
Yeah.
in, get paid to live in Italy, and pick your region where you're thinking of going. And there's a ton of videos on this, really good videos.
like this
And,
one.
just like this one, of course.
Oh, but this is a little bit better.
This is better, of course, but there's a lot of videos with a lot more detailed information.
What? And remember, if you have been to Italy, or you have questions or concerns, or you just make a comment, send a comment to us. We
Tell us
will
to jump off a high peak or
we will
something. I don't
avoid
know.
that. Yeah, we
We
will.
won't do it.
We
But we'd
actually had
appreciate
a
if you tell us.
conversation not too long ago of a person that lived in Tuscany. In one of our shows, we talked, and was saying that it is a little bit more expensive than, like Mike was saying, the southern region.
Well, I think a lot of these towns that have, like Sienna's in Tuscany. Sienna is a massive tourist attraction, and I think that's the thing. If you're going to go where there's more competition for the properties, you're going to pay more. They're going to pay more for the food. You're going to pay more for everything. But these little towns that are isolated, that don't get many tourists, you're not going to have the competition for the properties, and you'll pay less. So it's just a supply and demand kind of thing. It's very intellectual, but I think you'll understand.
Yeah. Thanks for breaking it down, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
So, anyways, remember to like, share, and subscribe,
And watch.
At
At the very lowest level, just watch. And then
enjoy.
as you're just enthralled and compelled with the scintillating conversation and the information is overwhelming you, like, subscribe, leave a comment.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
send us $20. I mean, come on.
You don't have to do that, Mike.
Well,
We do this for free out of love.
love, I'll tell you
Where are
what,
they gonna
the
spend?
love, the $20 would only make the love increase. More love?
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh,
let's not go there.
we're not doing the show on the Torty Group.
All right. With that being said, we're gonna leave everybody alone, and we're out of here. Thanks for watching. Ciao.
Ci vediamo.